Dude, I gotta yap about this game. When I was a wee lad with nary a nickel to my name, I used to visit a local mom and pop retro collector store for all my games. They were more abundant in selection and provided a vibe you couldn't even imagine finding in your typical Funko filled game slop. In this vast library of gaming history sat a nice, clean copy, manual included, of Jak and Daxter the Precursor Legacy. Now, my history with this series actually started with Jak 2. I watched my brother play it on his PS2 and fell in love with the aesthetic of the game's characters, world, and gameplay, but that's for a different video. I had no prior knowledge of the complete tonal shift the series took immediately after the first game, making it seem like the black sheep weirdly enough. So when I saw the first game, I assumed it was going to be more of the same, but the characters were younger. Boy was I wrong about that. I picked it up for $10 and read the colorful manual, excited to play it when I got home. I sat down, popped in the disc, played for an hour, and I never touched it again. I was immensely disappointed with the game's lack of weapons. The darker tone was gone. It was a larger focus on platforming, and the biggest kicker, Jak didn't even talk, like at all. I went my whole life being content with the knowledge that I was missing out on a portion of one of my favorite video game franchises by Naughty Dog, because it was different. I was an idiot. Fast forward to a much larger, more brain-rotted Sekkune. I had the urge to play through the series with a fresh set of eyes. I have a hard time remembering my childhood, and video games are the main highlight of a majority of my memories, but even then, everything's a blur, masked in a haze that I can't clear from my mind, and it hurts to know that those memories are buried just below the surface. With this playthrough, I was able to relive those memories of the mom and pop shop I used to frequent, not being able to afford new games, so me and my mom rented and bought used whenever possible. This game rekindled a light that's been dimming very slowly for me over time, and now I hold it very dear to my heart. Hell, I may even start to think this game is the best in the series just because of these feelings. But I digress. Jak and Daxter the Precursor Legacy is one of my all-time favorite platformers, and I need you to just take this ride with me. The short and simple of the plot is a boy named Jak, along with his best friend Daxter, find themselves in trouble when Daxter falls into a pit of dark eco, turning him into the iconic weasel otter creature known as an Ottsel. Now the two must venture north to find a sage capable of restoring his human form. It's very simple, but the way Naughty Dog handles their characters is always a joy to see. Even back then they excelled in this field. Although Jak is a mute in this game, the two are very clearly homeboys, and have each other's backs through thick and thin. Even though Daxter may badmouth you a few times, with a lot of his funny, annoying, and charming dialogue.
Hey, baby! What do you say you and I go cruising on this A-Grav Zoomer?
Rule number 1, I don't date animals.
Ah, you don't know what you're missing.
I even named my dog after the character. Another aspect of the game that comes up a lot in discussion is the squash and stretch animations, and for a very good reason. It's amazing. This style of animation always looks fantastic to me in a lot of mediums, but here it's done masterfully. It feels like Jak is made of rubber, the way his hand gets big when he throws a punch, his torso and legs stretching as he goes for a jump, turning into a wheel basically to roll around and launch into a pounce. It holds up incredibly well, and this is also extended to Daxter as well. Daxter reacts to Jak's movement as well, hanging on for dear life to Jak's neck as he does a spin attack, or even watching Daxter's smug face and crossed arms as Jak crawls on his hands and knees. It's all very in line with his character. Everything in this game feels so intentional and done with so much care and love that's hard to find nowadays, unless you're an indie game. Since we're already talking about characters, the cast in this game is by far the most memorable to me. Each NPC felt unique with their own jobs on the island, and it's reflected beautifully in their homes. When I was capturing footage, I didn't even stop to notice that each hut is themed to the person that occupies it. From Kira's mechanical and tool-filled room, to the fisherman's hut having fishing poles and fish jaws. Not to mention, Jack has an uncle who seems to be some kind of adventurer from the looks of his room. Never knew that. Going into the gameplay, this is where it lost me as a kid. I wanted guns. I also used to chew on silly putty, so that should give you an idea of where my head was at. The gameplay is simply fun. In conjunction with the beautiful squash and stretch animation is the movement. I mentioned earlier Jack basically turning into a wheel. I wasn't lying. That lunge jump to me is what identifies these games and sets them apart for me. Similar to Mario's long jump, this movement made traversing every level a fun challenge. Not because there was any real difficulty involved, although the game has its difficulty spikes, but because it always felt like there was a jump just within my reach that I'm not sure I was intended to get to yet or not. It felt so free seeing the obvious path to get to the Precursor orb get cut in half because of a well-angled long or high jump. Or even speeding past the timers due to a well-timed series of roll jump lunges being chained together for optimal speed. This plays very nicely with the way the levels are designed. I never felt punished for doing things my own way. Maybe out of order, but never the wrong way. One of my favorite levels being the Lost Precursor City. It reminded me of the industrial vibes of the Ratchet & Clank games, another series I would love to yap about. And it provided a good challenge to test my skills up to that point, with timed platforming segments, layered enemies that required more than just a blind punch, and branching paths for secrets. Even an auto-scrolling section right at the end that got pretty intense. While we're here, I might as well mention my least favorite level. The spider cave is pretty buns, but even then, it's just an aesthetic thing for me. I just found it boring more than anything. Spiders and dark caves aren't really my thing, and it clashes hard with the bright, vibrant tone of the game, making it feel like a filler level. But despite that, every jump and platform and enemy feels hand-placed to perfection to complement the duo's movement. And speaking of enemies, the variety is something that modern games need to take notes from. I'm getting bored of fighting the same masked military guys in every game. Give me a puffer or a pedalcopter lurker any day of the week. The enemy variety is so colorful, and every level felt like it introduced a unique looking enemy for my TikTok brain to consume every time. I was pleasantly surprised, and the boss fights as well were pretty fun compared to the rest of the series. Cough cough. Boring bullshit helicopter fight from Jak 2. Cough cough. My favorite being Claw. I'm a sucker for a fire theme anything, so I'm biased on that part. One aspect of the game that I didn't expect to enjoy as much, due to how they played out in the later games, was the hover bike segments, or the proper name, the A-Grav Zoomer sections. It actually controlled pretty nice. I didn't feel agitated by the controls, or the feel of the bike at all. And if anything, I was always excited to see what was in store whenever one appeared. Either it was a fun high-intensity race to the next section while keeping the Zoomer cool, while riding in lava tubes, or pursuing collectibles in an open level designed specifically for the Zoomer. I never felt it took away from the experience, and not to mention everything I've mentioned up to this point has had 0 loading screens. The entire game is seamless. It's incredible what they managed to pull off with the tech at the time. Naughty Dog has always excelled in pushing the hardware to its limits. After I finished the game, I clearly couldn't get enough, so I pursued the 100%, and to my surprise, I was nearly already there. The game had held my attention so well that without realizing, I had already cleared all the collectibles in each level, bar a few I missed, which made cleaning up the collectibles not feel tedious at all. But I know many people were probably missing just that last orb and folded before finding it. Luckily for me, the only leftover stuff was a couple of loose orbs and 2, maybe 3 blue eco charge thingies that have like 10, 20 precursor orbs in it at one time. Unfortunately, I found the secret ending disappointing. I know it leads directly into Jak 2, but I thought we would get more than the characters literally just opening a door and showing nothing. And the cheats you unlock for achieving 100% really only amount to some modifiers in a big head mode. Even with that in mind, I can easily say I was wrong about this game as a kid. It was an immensely satisfying and fun journey that felt rewarding directly through the gameplay, the characters, and the level design, despite the actual reward being kind of underwhelming. I'm excited to return to the rest of the series over time and rediscover what made me fall in love with this duo all over again. To this day, I hold this series in such high regards as one of my favorites of all time, and I'm happy to say it's not just nostalgia, but because the game is genuinely good. And as I venture into my past, I hope to unfog the buried memories that are just beneath my own surface, and remind myself why I'm so passionate about this hobby. Video games are the one thing I'm good at. I have a really bad self-confidence for the most part, and tend to beat myself up over everything. But when I play video games, I shed all those negative thoughts and get lost in these beautiful worlds, searching for my next Jak and Daxter to make new memories with, while respecting the past. And I hope you'll all tag along with me the next time I decide to yap about the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Also, Flutfla was pretty cool too. The little slut.